6. Lucky numbers to win big and get rich. On the 20th of July, 2025 Buddhist teachings. Have you ever felt like the universe was trying to speak to you through patterns, symbols, or even numbers? In a world where so much feels uncertain, we often look outside for signs of change, signs of hope, signs that maybe, just maybe, something good is coming. But what if those signs aren't just random? What if certain numbers carry deeper meaning, not just for luck, but for inner growth, clarity, and spiritual wealth? Welcome to the journey of wisdom, where ancient teachings meet modern life. In today's video, we explore 6 powerful numbers that are believed to hold special energy for July 20th, 2025, not just to help you win big in the outer world, but to realign with the deeper riches already within you. These numbers aren't about superstition, they're spiritual mirrors. Each one reflects a lesson from Buddhist philosophy: how to embrace change, release pressure, live simply, and trust your journey. Because, as the Buddha taught, true fortune begins in the heart, not the bank account. So whether you're here out of curiosity, hope, or the quiet desire for a breakthrough, stay with us. What you're about to hear may just shift the way you see luck, wealth, and yourself. Let's begin. 1. Number 16. The sacred disruption. Number 16, often feared for its association with sudden change, is actually a sacred messenger, not a curse, but a meaningful disruption that calls you back to your truest path. When life feels like it's crumbling, whether it's the end of a relationship, a change in your job, or a powerful personal realization, know that these shakeups are not here to destroy you. They are here to awaken you. In Buddhist teachings, everything is impermanent, and clinging to what must naturally fade only creates suffering. As the Buddha said, you only lose what you cling to. The number 16 invites you to gently practice non-attachment, to let go with grace rather than resistance, and to recognize that peace doesn't come from controlling life, it comes from learning how to flow with it. In today's fast-paced world, we are taught to fear instability, but true freedom arises when we no longer depend on fixed outcomes to feel secure. Much like a forest fire clears the way for new growth, disruption clears the space for clarity and renewal. Trust the process. If your world is being shaken, it might just be life's way of helping you rebuild on stronger, more honest foundations. As Rumi beautifully said, try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. So when number 16 appears on your journey, take a deep breath, soften your grip, and remember, what falls away was never meant to stay, and what remains is what truly matters. 2. Number 18. The gentle force of transformation. Number 18 carries a quiet strength, a gentle force of transformation that often arrives when you've endured, survived, and are now being asked to grow beyond the version of yourself shaped only by hardship. This number isn't loud or flashy, but it speaks with wisdom and power. It represents resilience, personal growth, and the unfolding of your authentic self. When you see the number 18, it's like a soft whisper from the universe, reminding you that healing doesn't mean going back to who you were, it means stepping forward into who you were meant to become. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what part of me am I still holding on to that no longer fits the life I want? That's the real question 18 brings to light. There's a story about a woman named Linda from Ohio who faced years of emotional burnout and loss after a divorce and a failed business. One day, she began seeing the number 18 repeatedly on receipts, in dreams, even on her son's soccer jersey. She paused, took it as a sign, and chose to leave behind the version of herself that had only known survival. She started a small candle-making business, inspired by mindfulness and healing, and within a year, she found success, peace and a new sense of purpose. 18 became her reminder that transformation doesn't always come with a bang. Sometimes it arrives as a quiet inner shift. Isn't it powerful to think that maybe, just maybe, you're being invited to step into a more honest version of yourself too? In a world that rewards constant hustle and toughness, the energy of 18 calls for stillness and self-reflection. It tells you to be soft yet strong, to grow, not because you must, but because your soul is ready. So the next time you come across the number 18, pause, reflect, and remember this: you are not just here to survive, you are here to transform, to grow, and to fully become. 3. Number 30. 5. The creative pivot. Number 35 is a powerful reminder that you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. This number blends the energy of 3, which symbolizes creativity and intuition, with the energy of 5, which represents freedom and transformation. When they come together, they point to a moment in your life where a creative pivot is not only possible, it's necessary. If you've been feeling like something in your life is out of sync, your job, your relationships, or even the way you see yourself, then seeing the number 35 could be the universe nudging you to realign with your true self. Ask yourself, where in my life am I staying small just to stay safe? Often, we fear change because we think it erases all we've built. But the truth is, change guided by intention doesn't take away your past, it honors it and uses it as fuel for your evolution. As the Buddha taught, each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. So maybe this is your moment to stop repeating old stories and start writing a new one rooted in who you are now, not who you were. Take a quiet moment to reflect. What would your life look like if you trusted your intuition and gave yourself permission to grow without guilt? Number 35 is not asking you to burn everything down. It's inviting you to reshape what already exists with more honesty, more courage, and more creativity. You don't need to be perfect to begin, you just need to begin where you are. If you've made it this far, you're already aligning yourself with the energy of abundance and fortune. Comment "Lucky Path" below to affirm your belief in these powerful teachings. Don't miss a second, there's still more wisdom and insight waiting for you. Stay until the end to discover all 6 lucky numbers that could change your life on the 20th of July, 2025. 4. Number 22. The Master Builder. Number 22 is often called the Master Builder. For a reason, it holds the energy of big dreams grounded in real-world action. In numerology, it represents manifestation, structure, and discipline, making it one of the most powerful numbers when it comes to turning vision into reality. If you've been waiting for the perfect time to start something, a business, a new life chapter, or even a healing journey, number 22 comes as a reminder that waiting for inspiration or ideal conditions only delays your growth. The truth is, progress starts with presence, not perfection. As the Buddha wisely said, a jug fills drop by drop. This number calls you to move forward step by step with mindfulness and commitment. Maybe you have a dream buried under years of doubt or responsibilities. Number 22 is telling you that your dream is valid, but it needs you to build it, not just wish for it. Take one small action today. Lay the first brick. Even if it's not perfect, it's a beginning. Like building a temple, each piece laid with care creates something that can stand strong for years to come. In today's world full of distractions and quick fixes, discipline and structure may seem old-fashioned, but they are the foundation for lasting success. Ask yourself, what's one action I can take now that future me will thank me for? Let number 22 be your reminder that transformation is not about leaps, it's about consistency. You don't have to rush, you just have to begin. And with each steady step, you become not just the dreamer, but the builder of the life you were meant to live. 5. Number 26. Spiritual and emotional alignment. Number 26 is a powerful reminder that real wealth isn't just about dollars in your bank account. It's about living a life rooted in emotional alignment, strong values, and spiritual balance. This number blends the energy of 2, which stands for connection and empathy, with the energy of 6, which symbolizes care, responsibility, and groundedness. When these energies combine, 26 sends a clear message. Abundance flows most easily when your heart and your actions are in sync. Are you making choices that reflect your deepest values, or are you just going through the motions out of fear or habit? The Buddha once said, "It is better to travel well than to arrive," reminding us that the way we move through life matters just as much as where we end up. There's a short story of Mark, a middle-aged man from Arizona, who kept seeing the number 26 on billboards, receipts, and even street signs. At first, he ignored it. But eventually, during a particularly difficult season in his marriage and career, he paused and asked himself those key questions. Am I living from fear or faith? And are my values showing up in my daily life? He realized he had been chasing status while neglecting the emotional and spiritual wealth that truly brought him joy. He chose to slow down, reconnect with his family, and start volunteering weekly. A few months later, not only did his relationships heal, but he also received an unexpected job offer that paid more and aligned with his core beliefs. Isn't it worth asking yourself, where am I out of sync between my inner world and outer actions? When number 26 appears, it's not just a sign, it's a gentle invitation to come home to yourself. In today's busy world, it's easy to lose track of what really matters, but true success, the kind that feels whole and lasting, comes when your emotional truth and daily decisions walk hand in hand. Let 26 remind you that wealth built on alignment is the kind that can never be taken away. 6. Number 44. The sacred grounding energy. Number 44 is often called a master number because it holds deep spiritual energy and carries a message that many people overlook in their rush to succeed. Slow down. In a world that constantly pushes you to move faster, do more, and chase the next goal, number 44 arrives as a sacred grounding energy, a quiet but powerful reminder that true success must be built on a strong, stable foundation. This number represents stability, structure, and spiritual protection, guiding you to pause and reflect on whether your actions come from panic or from purpose. Are you reacting to life's chaos, or are you creating your path with calm intention? The Buddha taught, to enjoy good health, to bring true happiness to one's family, to bring peace to all, one must first discipline and control one's own mind. When you see the number 44, it's time to check in with yourself. Are your choices aligned with your values, or are you building on shaky ground? A solid structure doesn't come from rushing, but from mindfulness and steady progress. There's power in stillness. Ask yourself, what can I do today to strengthen my inner foundation so I can grow without falling apart later? Whether you're starting a new business, rebuilding a relationship, or simply trying to bring more peace into your life, number 44 is a blessing that tells you to be intentional. Let this number remind you that your journey is not a race, it's a sacred building process. And the more rooted you are, the higher you can rise. If you're still with us, you're already in harmony with the energy of prosperity. Comment "abundant mind" to show you're ready to receive. The journey isn't over. Ye Teach number carries a teaching, a blessing. Stay with us to the end and embrace the full power of this Buddhist wisdom for your lucky day. Freedom from the pressures of life. Buddha's teachings on living in the present. In the modern world, People seem to be caught up in a whirlwind of work, achievement, and expectation. Pressure accumulates over time, leaving many feeling exhausted, anxious, and empty. But more than 2,500 years ago, the Buddha pointed out a way to escape: living in the present. Living in the present is not about giving up on the future, but about freeing ourselves from the burden of the past and the worries that have not yet happened. It is the key to living lighter, freer, and richer inside and out. Number 1. Recognize the pressure and let it go. In the midst of our modern world, filled with deadlines, comparisons, and the constant noise of expectations, many of us find ourselves under relentless pressure to achieve more, to keep up with others, to never fall behind. The Buddha's teachings offer a gentle but profound invitation to recognize this pressure not as something we must carry, but as something we can release. At the root of our suffering, he explained, is tanha, or craving, the constant wanting of things to be different, better, more. Whether it's comparing ourselves to others' success, fearing the loss of what we've gained, or anxiously chasing a version of the future that we believe will finally bring happiness, all of these patterns pull us away from the only moment we truly have, the present. As the Dhammapada wisely says, from craving springs grief, from craving springs fear. For him who is wholly free from craving, there is no grief, whence then fear? In our modern lives, this craving often takes the form of scrolling endlessly through social media, feeling not good enough when we see curated images of others' seemingly perfect lives, or constantly pushing ourselves to accomplish more at the expense of our inner peace. Yet, freedom begins with awareness. Take just 5 minutes each day, whether sitting quietly with a cup of tea or while walking, to gently observe the mind. No need to judge, just notice. What am I grasping for? What am I afraid of losing? In this space of observation, a subtle but powerful shift can happen. You begin to see that the pressure you feel isn't always coming from the outside world, but often from the stories you tell yourself within. As you learn to recognize these mental patterns, you create space to respond differently. This is where letting go begins, not through force, but through understanding. And as the Buddha reminded us, contentment is the greatest wealth. In a world that constantly tells us we need more to be happy, discovering the joy of enough is a revolutionary act. It's not about giving up dreams or ambition, but rather about releasing the tight grip of expectation and anxiety. When we start to find satisfaction in this very breath, in this moment, the chains of pressure begin to loosen. Consider this: even amidst the busyness of your day, you can pause, breathe deeply, and reconnect with what is real and present. The success we chase often clouds the truth that peace is available now. Just as a bird doesn't cling to the sky, you too can learn to move through life without being burdened by every thought or fear. The wise Zen saying reminds us, let go or be dragged. In choosing to let go even a little, you are not giving up, you are stepping into freedom. So, as you walk your own journey, remember that pressure is not permanent. When it arises, greet it with compassion and presence. You are not alone in this. The path of awareness and release has been walked for thousands of years, and it is still open to you, here and now. Number 2, practice mindfulness, the wealth of the present. Let's take a moment to reflect on something simple but powerful. How often are you really present in your day-to-day life? In the rush of responsibilities, conversations, and endless to-do lists, it's easy to drift into autopilot. Your body is doing one thing while your mind races somewhere else. But the Buddha taught us that only the present moment truly belongs to us. And that's more than just a beautiful quote, it's a deep truth we often forget. Mindfulness, in its essence, is the art of being fully here. It's knowing you're washing your hands while you're washing them. It's being aware of your breath, your steps, your thoughts, as they happen not after they've passed, or in anticipation of what's next. This isn't just a spiritual idea, it's a practical life skill. Have you noticed how often stress comes not from what's happening now, but from thoughts about what might happen or regrets over what already did? When you bring your awareness back to the now, you interrupt that spiral. You give your nervous system space to settle. That's why mindfulness helps reduce tension, calm the mind, and create a clearer sense of direction. So how can you practice mindfulness in a world that seems to demand your attention every second? Start small. When you're drinking your morning coffee or tea, just drink. Feel the warmth. Notice the aroma. Be present with it. When you walk, walk with awareness of each step. When you talk to someone, truly listen without thinking about your reply. These may seem like tiny actions, but they build a powerful habit that brings you back to the richness of life as it's happening. Can you see how living this way could make even ordinary moments feel more meaningful? Mindfulness also increases your productivity, not by pushing harder, but by helping you focus better. When your attention is fully with what you're doing, you finish tasks more effectively and with less fatigue. It's like sharpening a knife before you cut. More precision, less struggle. And beyond the practical benefits, mindfulness creates a sense of fullness from within. You start to notice the beauty in everyday things: sunlight through the window, the sound of birds, the kindness in a stranger's smile. What if the peace you've been looking for isn't somewhere out there in the future, but already here, waiting in the next breath you take? So the next time life feels overwhelming, pause and ask yourself, where is my mind right now? That simple question can bring you back to the present. And the present is where your true power lives, not in the worries of tomorrow or the weight of yesterday. Let mindfulness be your anchor, your way home to yourself. The lesson is simple, but not always easy. Live in the moment, because that's the only place life is truly happening. Practice presence, and you'll begin to experience freedom, not because your circumstances change, but because you do. Number 3. Know how to stop. Less is more. Let me ask you something. In your daily life, when was the last time you truly stopped, not just took a break, but really paused with awareness and intention? In the modern world, we're constantly pushed to do more, have more, achieve more, and keep going without rest, as if our worth is measured by how busy we are. But the Buddha offered a radical alternative, one that feels almost countercultural today: the wisdom of stopping. He taught that in stillness there is clarity, and in stopping there is freedom. What if, instead of always speeding up, you slowed down long enough to hear what your body and mind are truly saying? Stopping isn't about giving up or being lazy, it's about becoming conscious. It's about stepping out of the automatic reactions and busyness of life to reconnect with your inner self and ask, why am I doing what I'm doing? Where am I headed? And is it really where I want to go? The Buddha said, the foolish are always busy, but the wise take time to reflect. This reflection is not a waste of time, it's what leads to real peace and insight. When you learn how to stop, even for a few breaths, you begin to see how much of your life is spent reacting out of habit rather than responding from awareness. Can you think of times when you were swept away by emotions or expectations, only to later realize you never paused to ask if it truly mattered to you? That's why learning to stop is powerful. It helps you return to what is real, not what is urgent. In doing so, you begin to experience the deep truth that less can actually be more. Fewer distractions bring more clarity. Less noise creates more space for wisdom. Fewer possessions or goals can lead to more contentment. As Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully put it, smile, breathe, and go slowly. In that slowness, you reconnect with the joy of just being. You start to see that rest is not a reward for finishing everything on your list, it's a necessity for seeing clearly and living meaningfully. So, I invite you to ask yourself, what would change in your life if you gave yourself permission to stop more often? Would your relationships be deeper, your decisions wiser, your inner world more peaceful? When we pause, we begin to see not just the world around us, but the world within us. We recognize that chasing endlessly never leads to true fulfillment. Instead, it's in stillness that life begins to unfold with grace. The lesson is simple yet powerful. Don't let the speed of life pull you away from the richness of your own presence. Choose to stop, not to escape, but to return. Return to awareness. Return to intention. Return to yourself, because in the act of stopping, you open the door to everything that truly matters. If this message touched something in you, take a moment now to pause and simply comment below. I choose to stop and return to myself. No need to overthink it. Just this small act can be your first step toward peace. Number 4. Meditation, the door to freedom. Let's talk about something that might feel distant or mystical at first: meditation, but bring it into the heart of your everyday life. Because the truth is, meditation isn't just for monks in temples or spiritual seekers on mountaintops. It's for you and me, for the teacher, the nurse, the parent juggling responsibilities, the business person navigating deadlines. It's for anyone who's ever felt overwhelmed, scattered, or pulled in too many directions at once. The Buddha taught that the mind, when untrained, is like a monkey jumping from one branch of thought to another, never resting, never still. But through meditation, we learn not to suppress the monkey mind, but to gently train it, returning again and again to the simplicity of the breath. And yes, it really can be that simple. You don't need incense or hours of free time. Just find a quiet moment, sit comfortably, close your eyes if you'd like, and begin by watching your breath go in and out. Feel it, noticing the rise and fall, the coolness of the inhale, the warmth of the exhale. As thoughts come, and they will, you don't have to fight them or judge yourself. Just notice them and return to the breath. In doing this, you begin to build the habit of non-reactivity, which is one of meditation's most powerful gifts. As the Dalai Lama once said, calm mind brings inner strength and self-confidence, so that's very important for good health. And he's right, modern science now confirms what ancient wisdom has taught for centuries. Meditation calms the nervous system, reduces stress, and even rewires the brain to respond to life with more balance and compassion. But there's more. Meditation helps you recognize emotions as they arise without being carried away by them. Have you ever found yourself snapping at someone before you even realize you're angry? Or feeling anxious without understanding why? Meditation creates a pause, a sacred space between stimulus and response, where clarity can arise. Viktor Frankl, a well-known psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, once said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." Meditation helps you create more of that space. When you practice meditation and build emotional awareness, it can completely change how you relate to others, whether it's your partner, your children, your co-workers, or even yourself. You start responding calmly instead of reacting impulsively. You listen more, understand more deeply, and feel more compassion for others and for yourself. And compassion isn't a weakness or something extra, it's the foundation of any meaningful relationship. So, if you're wondering how to start or feel like meditation is too difficult, start small. 1 minute. Just one. Even a brief practice done consistently becomes a doorway to profound change. The benefits don't depend on doing it perfectly, but on doing it sincerely. And the more you return to your breath, the more you return to yourself. So I invite you, not someday, but today, to take that seat, close your eyes, and enter the quiet space that's always been there within you. because in that stillness you will discover not only peace but freedom. Number 5. Be grateful. Be truly rich. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you paused and truly felt grateful, not just said thank you out of habit, but really acknowledged something in your life with appreciation? You see, in a world where success is often measured by how much you earn, own, or accomplish, it's easy to fall into the trap of not enough. Even those who seem to have everything, money, status, luxury, often live with a quiet sense of insecurity, always chasing more, fearing loss, or comparing themselves to someone with just a little more. But Buddha's wisdom gently reminds us that true wealth doesn't come from accumulation, it comes from appreciation. He taught that health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, faithfulness the best relationship. When you stop looking outside for validation and start looking within for what's already good, you realize that being grateful isn't just about feeling good, it's about being rich in a way that no money can buy. Gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to sufficiency. So, what are some things in your life right now, simple or significant, that you can be thankful for? Is it your health, even if imperfect? Is it the smile of someone who loves you? Is it the chance to start over, try again, or simply wake up and breathe another day? Taking time daily to be grateful, whether through quiet reflection, journaling, or just silently acknowledging life's blessings, starts to transform the way you see your entire world. And here's what's amazing. When you feel like you have enough, you naturally open the door to receiving more. You become less driven by fear or need and more motivated by joy and purpose. That energy attracts good things, stronger relationships, opportunities, peace of mind. Gratitude is like a magnet. It pulls abundance toward you. And this kind of wealth is sustainable because it's rooted in your mindset, not your possessions. As Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet." That's the kind of presence gratitude brings, gentle, grounded, and rich with meaning. So if you ever feel overwhelmed by life's pressures or like you're not measuring up, stop and ask yourself, what can I be thankful for right now? That one question can shift everything. Because no matter your circumstances, gratitude is always available, always free, and always powerful. The lesson is simple but deeply transformative. Wealth is not about having more, it's about needing less and appreciating more. A grateful heart doesn't wait for life to be perfect. It finds beauty even in the imperfection. So practice gratitude not just when life is good, but especially when it's hard. That's when it becomes your strength, your compass, and your quiet source of joy. And in doing so, you'll come to see that you were already rich all along. Number 6. Live simply. Wealth without complicatedness. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like life has become too crowded, not just with things, but with thoughts, expectations, and responsibilities that weigh you down? In today's world, where we're constantly told to chase more success, more possessions, more statues, it's easy to become overwhelmed and lose sight of what really matters. But the Buddha, one of the wisest teachers the world has known, lived a life that was the complete opposite of that noise. He owned very little, yet his presence was radiant and his heart was full. What does that tell us? That living simply doesn't mean living without it, means living with clarity, intention, and peace. The Buddha once said, "Just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past over and over again." And part of that shedding comes from letting go of the unnecessary clutter in our lives, both physical and mental. Simplicity isn't about deprivation. It's about creating space to breathe, to feel, to be. When you choose to live simply, you stop spending so much energy managing things that don't add meaning to your life. You begin to shift your attention from the superficial to the essential, from distractions to what truly nourishes your heart and mind. Can you think of areas in your own life where simplifying might bring you more peace? Maybe it's letting go of things you don't use, or commitments that drain your energy, or even outdated beliefs that keep you stuck. Living simply helps you focus on what really counts: relationships, health, inner peace, your values, and when your mind is no longer scattered in 1,000 directions, it naturally becomes lighter, more open, and more peaceful. You might even notice that joy becomes easier to find in small things: a warm cup of tea, a quiet walk, a sincere conversation. This is the richness of simplicity, the kind of wealth that doesn't depend on what you have, but on how deeply you connect with what's already here. As Lao Tzu said, "He who knows he has enough is rich." And that richness doesn't require a big house, a full schedule, or a packed closet. It just requires awareness, presence, and the courage to let go. A simple mind is truly a free mind, unburdened by the constant push for more, more, more. And in that freedom, you begin to see life as it is, not as you wish it to be. So I invite you to reflect. What would it look like for you to live more simply? What could you let go of that no longer serves your peace? The lesson here is timeless freedom isn't something we find in the future. It's something we create in the present by choosing clarity over chaos, peace over pressure, and simplicity over complication. The path to a lighter, freer, and more joyful life doesn't start with what you add, it starts with what you're willing to let go. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the sacred meanings behind these 6 powerful numbers. Whether you believe in luck, signs from the universe, or simply the wisdom within ancient teachings, remember this: true wealth begins from within through clarity, balance, and mindful living. If today's message brought you insight or inspiration, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to the Journey of Wisdom. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming videos on mindful living, spiritual insight, and practical wisdom for a better life. Until next time, may your path be steady, your heart be light, and your steps guided by awareness. This is the Journey of Wisdom, walking with you one breath at a time.